Welcome to 91 Reasons, a pop culture fueled rocket into the far reaches of nerd culture. Featuring your hosts, Jeff, Rachel, Luna, Austin, and Josie. It's Tucker time.
So a few months ago, I was reading, I read all these entertainment websites. They tell you what people are up to. And I was like, oh, Winona Ryder's doing a new project. But it wasn't a movie. She was doing a TV show, and not just a regular TV show, but like a TV show for Netflix. So it's like one of those things where, now see, Netflix is different than Hulu, because we just watched that James Franco Stephen King 11/22/63, and they parceled it out one episode a week for 8 weeks. So Netflix is good because, I'm not really a binge watcher, but when something's good, it's like, I'll watch it like faster than one episode a week. So, of course, because I'm a big Winona Ryder fan, this was always going to be on the radar. So I don't have Netflix all the time. So I turned on Netflix and I said, I'm going to sit down and watch this thing. And, I didn't have really high expectations for it. So I sat down, and within, 10 minutes, Luna and Rachel were sitting with me, thoroughly engrossed in it. So they're both with me now on the show.
Hi.
Hey. That wasn't really Luna, but that was... Luna, you going to say hi and be on the show?
Hi.
All right. Bit clomping on the ground there. So, Netflix, Stranger Things, 8 episodes. This takes place in Indiana, 1983. It's funny, the title card came up, and the first thing I said was, oh, it's Erie, Indiana, a new series. But it's about a group of friends who are playing Dungeons & Dragons, and one of them, as they're all bicycling home, one of them takes a shortcut and ends up getting chased by a monster. The monster travels to his house, and then he vanishes. Will Byer vanishes into thin air, and that's the plot, is what happened to Will Byer. And I'll be honest, when it started, I thought, there's no way this is 8 hours long. Mm-hmm. There's simply no way that it's 8 hours long. Because I remember when, you remember watching the first season of 24?
Yeah.
Like, the first season of 24 started with this big story arc, and Jack Bauer had to thwart this guy who was going to kill presidential nominee, what was his name on the show? David? No, that's the actor. Whatever his name was. So at some point in the show, like, Jack takes the guy out, and I'm like, oh, well, cool, where are they going next? And no joke, they cut to, like, a garage opening up and a car coming out, and the guy goes like, now the real killer is in town. I was like, oh, it's just the same plot twice. So this one I thought, how are they going to sustain 8 hours? And I'll tell you what, this is one of the finest 8-hour television shows I have ever seen.
Yeah,
I was riveted by it. I don't think I'm crazy when I say the best performance Winona Ryder has ever given as an actor.
She's playing herself.
She's
crazy.
Finally playing herself. She plays the mom of the little boy that's missing. And other than a few weird scenes where, like, they have her interacting, like, in flashback with the kid and trying to be like a mom, she's mostly distraught.
You mean the normal scenes? She's not.
Yeah, no.
She's not good at the normal scenes. You make her crazy and she's right on.
So, Will disappears. He doesn't show up for breakfast the next day. And she goes into town to the local chief of police. I didn't recognize.
He was awesome.
I didn't recognize the actor.
Show.
He's fantastic.
Great actor.
He's a drunk. He is a loser. And you're going to find out eventually that he has some real problems.
Are we doing spoiler? You're telling the whole
story?
No,
this whole thing is a spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Because most people have engulfed this thing.
Okay.
So you could talk about it in its total.
Everyone's either hasn't heard of it or watched all of it because the way it was put up.
Yeah, exactly. So
I guess even if we ruin it for you, still watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it. But if you don't want it spoiled, you should turn this episode off at this
immediately.
Point. But we're heading out to Comic-Con tomorrow.
Yay! We're so crazy excited.
Which is the day you're listening to this. So there actually is some really tiny Stranger Things promotions we're going to try to take advantage of.
You're going to find them.
But she goes into town, and the cop at first, he says, look, this is Hawkins, is that the name of it?
Yes.
The town.
Yeah.
Hawkins.
He goes, this is Hawkins, man. You know, and he knows her from high school. Everybody knows everybody. And he goes, the craziest thing that's ever happened here is an owl thought Mrs. Bunson's head was a nest. He goes, 99 out of 100 times, the kid comes home, he's just been somewhere. And she goes, what about the other one? He goes, the other what? The one. You said 99 out of 100. What about the one? And that sets in motion the story. Because we, the audience, know that Will met a monster. It's not a secret. He met the Demogorgon, right? And the question is, how long will it take the people around looking for him to figure out that there is something bigger going on? So we're also introduced to some other characters. Will's sister, who is sleeping with the local town jock, kind of, no, he's not a jock, but he's like the cool guy in town. And Will's brother is like a wastoid who nobody thinks is ever going to amount to anything. We kind of meet Will's dad in a short subplot that doesn't really go anywhere. It's just filler.
Yeah.
But it also shows that we get Joyce's problem. Joyce is the Winona Ryder character, the mom. We get, like, he traded her in for a younger model. She was left to raise two boys alone, working really hard at some local, like, Kmart type store. And he breezes in, and it's all about money, and then breezes out. And it just shows how independent the character of Joyce is. We also meet Will's friends, the main character. Since Will is gone, the main character that we're experiencing most of the show through is Mike. Mike, Dustin, and Lucas. And they're great characters. They're like the Goonies. They're like the Explorers. The cool thing about the show, Luna and I were talking while it was on. The cool thing about the show is that nobody on the show is weak. Every character makes decisions and does what they're saying they're going to do. Nobody asks, like, should we go here? Should we go there? Because, I mean, that's...
most of the time that's what you have to do for the plot, for it to be entertaining.
Right. It's typical filler. Mm-hmm. Should we go to the mall? Just go to the mall. So, it was interesting. There's a movie called Taken with Liam Neeson where the whole movie is like that. He doesn't do surveillance. He just busts in and starts cracking skulls. So this movie is kind of like they just hit the ground running and they keep going and going. We're eventually going to find out that there's a government facility on the hill, and the same night that Will was taken, a young girl with a shaved head escaped. And her name is what, Rachel?
11.
They call her Elle for short.
The real name is Jane, right?
Yeah.
That's
Jane.
her name.
Yeah,
the girl's name before it all happened to her.
Right. So eventually we will find out that the little girl was taken from her mother. Her mother was told that she miscarried, even though moms know. And that was really well done in the show. And Elle is being pursued by the government, and the government's team is led by Matthew Modine from... Full Metal Jacket and Vision Quest and Gross Anatomy, and it's so weird. I think part of it is, yes, people get older. There's no doubt that people
Laura told me a really cool fact about him.
A factoid?
Yes.
Oh, let's have a Laura Perrault factoid.
Girl, what's her name? The star of it, the girl. Mike's sister.
Nancy.
Forgot for a moment. Nancy is his daughter, Matthew Modine, in real life.
My God, what a coincidence.
Yeah,
they must have been shocked when they met on the set that day.
I know.
I know.
He said it was uncomfortable when she had to do the brawl sex scenes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Why was he there that day?
Yeah, he shouldn't be there that day.
He's a star of it. He was probably there every day.
So,
especially when your daughter's working with you. That's cool.
What I was saying was, the stars that we grew up with, yes, they're getting older, but the medium in which we see them has changed. These people, Matthew Modine, Winona Ryder, all of the stars of the 80s that we grew up with, we're used to seeing on the big screen projected on film, which is, by its nature, hazy. It glosses over. It makes people look better. Now that we're seeing them in full, almost immersive HD, like you could reach out and feel like you're touching them.
Yes, you had trouble with Winona's wrinkles. You keep trying to say they're makeup and fake.
Oh, yeah, it was total makeup.
Except that when she did the red carpet, she had the same wrinkles.
Oh, they had her done up as Joyce, too.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthew Modine kind of looked like evil Steve Martin in the movie with his white hair. But we're going to find out in the show that the night that Elle escaped, she opened a doorway into another dimension and let a monster loose into like the Swiss cheese. The monster can he open holes anywhere? Is that his deal?
It can open it anywhere temporarily.
Yeah. It's very 80s. There's a lot of Stephen King references.
Great soundtrack, great music.
A lot of great 80s music.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the creature and a lot of its trappings are very H.P. Lovecraft. The thing looks like Cthulhu. We don't. The good thing about it though is you don't see it in its entirety till the very end. Mm-hmm. They really stretch that out.
They said on purpose. It's most of the story arc in the whole show is supposed to be Jaws. They followed the same arc. They just copied it right over.
Well, no wonder I like it.
And what did you say about the cop uniforms?
Those are all from Jaws 2.
They're from Jaws.
Any police uniform is from Jaws and Jaws 2.
And Hopper is almost like Hooper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it's all very familiar. And I think that moving forward, these are the stories that are going to resonate the most because people want to go in like they know it already. So it's very familiar. Hawkins is a familiar place. Small town America. It's where a lot of these stories have taken place. Mike and his friends will find Elle and bring her in. It's very E.T.
Yeah.
Like E.T. opens with them playing Dungeons and Dragons and pizza. And you heard me go, oh my God, it's like they're just cribbing.
He brings out the dress and the wig for
Puts
Elle.
a blanket on her when they get on the bike.
He puts her in the closet.
I was waiting for her to be in the closet with stuffed animals.
Yeah, she was in the closet.
She was
in
with
the
stuffed
closet.
animals.
Yeah.
I was waiting for her to open it and be like, the stuffed animals all
Yeah.
Even
and
shows
the
him Star
bike, I
Wars
was waiting for
figures.
the bikes to fly.
He
every
explains
10 seconds.
human life with using Star Wars figures.
Yeah, which is just like E.T. But you know what? Instead of being upset, I was like, oh, that's great. What a great shorthand.
Well, you can tell it was done by somebody that was a fan. It wasn't like a ripoff or done.
No.
Like,
There's a big difference between ripoff and a real homage, and this was an
Yeah.
homage. Eventually, Will finds a way to break through the other side and talk to his mom using lights in what I thought was like one of the most powerful scenes of the whole show. When the lights start flickering and she's got that, Joyce is like under a cabinet holding a ball of Christmas lights and they light up white because she's talking to her son. It was one of the best scenes I've seen in a long time because it felt real to me. Like, I know it's silly. It's just lights. But when you're caught up in good story, good, solid characters, you can have a scene like that could be ridiculous in another film and works perfectly in something like this. It's hard to explain where that line is.
On paper, I would have thought you were crazy.
If I had written this and gave it to you, you'd go, the Christmas lights, Jeff. But when you see it, and when Joyce is crazy writing letters on the wall to talk to Will, you are like, your heart breaks because... Here's the thing. If I'd seen this as a kid, I'd have been like, yeah, go back to the kids. I want to see the bikes and I want to see the monster, but I got kids. And the idea of one of my kids missing and that you're finally breaking through where they are, but you can't get to them, that's every parent's nightmare. The scene where Will finally is literally on the other side of the membrane from her. Remember that scene? And she's screaming, I will find you. I was like, this is fantastic. It feels so real.
It did give me nightmares. I had a real nightmare about being stuck in that upside down world the other night.
They call the other world the upside down.
But it wasn't bad. I woke up really weird. It was like, oh my God, that was the most horrific nightmare. And then I said, oh, but it was just like the show, and the show was so good.
Yeah, well, the thing is that you find out that Elle has been using astral projection to journey around the world without leaving anywhere. They put her in a sensory deprivation tank, and she's able to astral project herself. And the thing is that there's a Stephen King short story called The Jaunt, which is about the invention of not light speed travel, but hyperspace travel. What? Every movie does it, and they did it in this one. They take a piece of paper and they fold it, and they go through the paper with a pencil. Stephen King, in his story, these people are traveling to another planet, so they're being put under sedation to get there because you can't be awake during the jaunt, right? So this kid who's been listening to the history of how this was discovered doesn't take the drugs. And when he emerges the other side, he's completely insane. So it's the same in this. It's almost directly in this story because we want to think that Elle is just projecting herself across the world into the minds of Russian spies and stuff. But in the reality of the show, the fact is that to get from A, not to B, but from A to like M, which is where she's going, you still have to go through all those letters. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So she's still traveling somewhere in a black void called the Upside Down. It's very scientific. And in the context of the show, it was handled beautifully. I think even lay people could understand what they were doing. Like, I was afraid when they got to, like, the big pulsing membrane at the Institute. I thought your mom would go, yeah, I'm done with this.
What are you trying to say?
Well, you check out a show sometimes if they jump the shark. Not saying this jumped the shark, but this was asking a lot. We went from a missing kid to a monster.
I don't care. I fell in love with Elle.
Yeah, Elle's a great character. Strong,
no
independent, badass. And you know what? I didn't like Nancy at the beginning, and Nancy became a badass. Nancy commits the 80s movie sin, which is what? You know? She has sex, which means she's probably going to die. Oh. Instead, Nancy is spared, and Barb is taken, her best friend.
I wasn't expecting that.
So that's the price you pay in these movies. If you have sex, it equals death. This is every Friday the 13th. Jason doesn't show up till after you've had sex, then you're dead. So the virgin is always spared. That's even Cabin in the Woods, right? Mm-hmm. So Nancy ends up seeing her boyfriend Steve is a jerk, but he's
justified always.
But even Steve has a good story arc.
Yeah, like the thing with even all the evil characters in it, they're all justified. They all had a reason to be mean or do what they're doing. They're never just mad.
Everybody thinks they're right. Mm-hmm. Matthew Modine's character thinks he's saving the country. Joyce wants to save her kid. Hopper, we find out, late in the show, lost his daughter to cancer. So Hopper is seeing saving Will as redemption. Yeah. And that was really powerful. What could have looked like, another one of these. The actor who played him handled it beautifully. That guy was such a badass. And by badass, I mean like a real guy. Mm-hmm. He was as real as Chief Brody in Jaws. Yep. Like he really felt like he cared for these people. And there's a really interesting scene where he goes to check out the Institute and just walks right in. Mm-hmm. Like he's not even, he is going all the way down to the portal. So I really thought all of that was great. All of the performances are great. I like the look of the show. I thought that episode 8 kind of stretched things out a little bit. Even you remember, it's a lot. It's like 10 minutes longer.
Yeah, it was about 10, 15 minutes
longer.
And
the 10 minutes was just them walking across the Upside Down.
Yeah, they're trying to make it more dramatic, but they're just drawing it out.
So the show is basically, they're trying to figure out where Will is. The government's trying to get the kids because they need Elle back. Every time Elle shows up and the government shows up, somebody dies because she has telekinesis powers. She can make doors close. She makes a van fly through the air, and in a bravado performance at the end, when it looks like all hope is lost, blows these guys' brains up. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And in the end, Hopper and Joyce go to the Institute to find the gate because Joyce is like, I'm going to get my kid. This is what I'm doing. And we've seen Joyce in the prior scenes helping Elle in a deprivation tank that they crafted. And it's the first time you really see her as a mom. Yeah. You know, I got you. I'm here. You did so good. And Elle, who's never had a mom, like you can just see it in her eyes, she's never known this kind of comfort and care. And those scenes were really poignant, really well done. Because, like, you have to understand, like, the scene where Joyce is preparing Elle to go into the bath. They're just sitting there, and she's like, I want to thank you for doing this for my son. You're saving my family. And, okay, you have to understand, before they filmed that, these people were just having lunch. Yeah. Like, it's all fake. Elle's just a little girl who was probably in her trailer playing a video game. And they said, hey, we're ready for you on set. So she sits down. Winona comes in and puts her coffee down and her cigarette down. And they have this moment that to us, it looks completely real. Same with the swimming pool scene. It's just a kid in a swimming pool thrashing around. But the way it's edited, And more important, forget the editing. The way it's acted, you buy it.
The child actors in this were amazing.
They're fantastic.
And they're all like nobodies. I don't know where they found these kids.
Kid with no teeth. He was pretty good.
You hate him, but
he was the only one that bugged a little bit.
You called him Chunk, right?
Yeah. Well, he does the pudding scene in the fridge.
But
Chunk
yeah,
I
think he's wearing Chunk's hat too.
Yeah.
Exactly Chunk's hat. You know, be interesting. Like I even said, I'd watch it again just to write down all the different references because there's so many.
There's a movie poster in almost every big scene.
Yeah.
That is
Evil Dead,
what's happening.
Evil Dead, Jaws, Dark Crystal.
Right as they light the monster up with gasoline, there's a Jaws poster in the back.
Yeah. So everybody takes a crack at this monster guy. I really thought they were going to pull it out and make the monster sympathetic at the end, but thankfully they didn't do that.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
Hey, it's happened. It's happened before.
Killed. That's the way it goes.
So at the end, Joyce and Hopper are incarcerated at the Institute, and it looks like they're going to either kill Joyce or whatever, and then Hopper, they're going to drug him and make it look like he's a drug addict, and so no one will believe him.
I just wish that he wouldn't have been married. I wish they would have been able to get together at the end of the movie.
He isn't married.
He's not still with his wife?
No, he called his wife. She's married with another kid.
Like 3 different girls over the course of the
show.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I thought it was all the same woman.
Oh yeah, no, that's a possibility.
He didn't get with Joyce.
No.
That's what I wanted.
But it wasn't a self-contained story. There's another season of this.
So you said it wasn't going to be the same people.
Oh no, it is. We
thought that's why they gave it.
Well, can they bring back 11?
Yeah,
that's the plot.
We haven't got to the end yet, though. Let's get to the end.
Oh.
So Hopper instead, they're tasing him and he's vomiting. And he never gives up and says, here's what's going to happen. You're going to let me do something, and then we're never going to speak of this again. And you're like, well, all Hopper and Joyce want to do is go through the portal, which we've seen just kills people. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't they let him go? Because then it solves all their problems. And what do? They let him go through the portal. So Joyce and Hopper go into the Upside Down, which I thought was great because it reminded me a lot of Aliens.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a little alien.
Well, they even had the egg they went up to.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of Aliens, Ripley's ready to go. Bishop has the drop ship, and they're ready to go, and she doesn't have Newt. So Ripley says, I'm not going anywhere without Newt. And she goes down the elevator into the monster's lair to get Newt back. That's the crux of Aliens, because it's Ripley saving her daughter, even though Newt's not her daughter, it's her proxy daughter. So having Joyce, Hopper could have gone, in a regular 80s movie, Hopper would have gone alone, while Joyce paced back and forth, wonder where he is. And instead, she's like, no, I'm the mom. I'm going down there. And they walk, and they walk, and they walk, and when they do finally get them, we're getting that multi-level battle of the kids are battling the soldiers, the alien monsters in the school, and Joyce and Hopper are trying to desperately save Will, who's been cocooned or something. Yeah. It's not explained, right?
No,
what'd you say about them?
They don't explain it, but it's just alien life cycle. They're pinned to the wall with worms growing in them, and they eventually get to the egg stage. And that's all we know.
But what was interesting was they kept cutting between that and Hopper's child dying of cancer, and the final shot is when they're trying. She's flatlining. She's got the tube down her throat to help her breathe. Mm-hmm. And when they finally find Will, he's got something down his throat. It was done on purpose to mirror it. So he's able to yank that out, throw the kid down, do CPR, and bring the kid back to life. It was really earth-shaking. Really well done. And at the same time, Elle has to face the monster. She's the one that, in theory, let it loose, even though it wasn't her fault. And what's your take on the ending there?
I really don't know what happened. It's just so weird.
She pins the monster against the wall with her powers, walks up to it, because bullets didn't stop it, rocks didn't stop it,
fire,
fire. And so
they shot it, lit it on fire, and then put a bear trap on it, and it still limped away.
Right. So she's finally got it pinned with the power of telekinesis, and then they're just sort of both engulfed in this mist, and
that's it.
They're both gone.
And they're no longer in either of the worlds after that.
Right, yeah, we don't know where they went. And poor Mike.
Like that.
You know, because
better come back.
Mike just had his first kiss with her and told her he was taking her to the snowball dance. It was really, really sad.
That was the only part of the whole show I didn't like.
And we thought...
They'll redeem themselves if they bring her back.
Well, we thought that... see, I don't like to keep the meter running to see how long the show is. We thought at any moment it was just going to fade out. And instead... It cut to Christmas, and...
Months later.
Yeah. So Hopper's at the police station, and life is kind of back to normal. The government hasn't... I mean, Matthew Modine was killed by the monster, so all of that research and everything went out the door. Elle is gone, so there's nothing for anybody to get upset about. If nobody knew about the project, it's all dead anyways, right? Joyce is having what looked like her first Christmas dinner that she had made ever, because nothing was right. And when Will he's getting an Atari for Christmas. He's very excited about that. When Will goes to the bathroom, he pukes up an alien larva.
Slug thing.
And it goes down the drain. Mm-hmm. And then for a second, he blinks back into the upside down.
Yeah.
With no explanation. What is your take on that?
I don't know.
Well, the monster could blink back and forth. It had to open the wall, but it could go back and forth.
Slowly becoming one of them?
Well, I don't know if he's becoming one of them. It's just part of him now, because it put whatever it was in his body.
Right. Well, remember what they said was all these civilians went in there, and when they send Joyce and Hopper, they go, look, the air is toxic. You have to wear a suit. So Will was in there over a week. So anything could have happened. Any mutation of any kind could have happened. You know, the air was thick. You keep seeing particles floating, almost like the movie Legend, with stuff everywhere in the air. He goes back to the table and doesn't share that information.
Nope. She asked him if he's okay.
Yeah.
And he just moves on.
And what kid would share it? He wants his mom to be happy.
He just wants to be normal.
You know. Yeah. And then the last shot we see is Hopper taking Christmas dinner and Eggo waffles to a box in the middle of the forest and leaving it.
And we know Elle loves the Eggo waffles.
The hint there being Elle is still alive.
Yes, it better be. That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, it was really touching E.T. ending. I really enjoyed Stranger Things. Here's the thing. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Me too.
I was really impressed with how good it looked.
I knew you were watching it for Winona. I figured it didn't matter.
Well, but you know, if it was terrible, like I put her movies on and like I can't do it.
But I went in. You have to understand. You read about it. You've known for months what this is. I went in completely blind. I didn't even know it was in the scary horror type thing.
Right.
Like I knew nothing. I just knew it was a TV series with Winona Ryder. That's all we needed to know.
Right. I didn't know it was a TV series. When the credits rolled for the first time, I was like, what? I'm not getting a full story. There's 7 more hours?
Yes.
I thought we were like halfway through already.
No. It was fantastic. I can't believe Netflix pulled it off as a show that classy and good. It had shades of Goonies, Explorers, Aliens,
E.T.
Jaws, E.T., how many more movies were mixed in there?
Like
Lost Boys.
By Stephen King.
Yeah, just really sharp.
Anything by Steven Spielberg.
And they were walking the tracks.
Stand By Me, Lovecraft. The opening credits and music were great. The music throughout the show was good. Mm-hmm. Austin, what'd you think of that Peter Gabriel cover of Heroes by David Bowie?
That was crud. That was absolute crud. That was like some 1998 Godzilla stuff right there.
No, that's the Wallflowers. But like, weird. I have it playing as loud as it can go, and I go, "Hey, Austin, someone's covering Bowie," and all I hear is, "It sucks," from the back room. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, Rachel, what would you give Stranger Things?
A 12.
A 12. Wow.
It had all my favorite movies in one.
And you know what? It's coming on at a good moment because
we watched. If just turned into an ape, it would have had all of them.
An ape. We watched The Shallows, which was terrible. We watched Finding Dory, which I didn't think was any good. This was the best thing I've seen this summer.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It was really good.
I'm only bummed that it wasn't in a big theater. I would have watched 8 hours worth in a big theater.
Yeah, no, I would too. Yeah. If they put it on once a week or something, I would go to the theater to see it with a bunch of fans. We're going to Comic-Con where there's a million different things to collect and buy and look and trade and da-da-da. And I'm looking for a fake VHS box of this movie. It's ridiculous.
This was 10 of them hidden in the city.
130,000 people going to San Diego Comic-Con, and there's only 10 boxes out there, and I have to find one.
5 lucky golden tickets.
Or at least the flyer, the missing
lightning.
kid flyer, or the real flyer. Gotta at least get that. They look like they're all over the city, so.
Yeah, I already tweeted the company that's putting it on, and I said, because people were revving up, I tweeted a picture of Austin wearing a San Diego Comic-Con shirt and said, "We'll trade this kid for Will Byer," and they retweeted it, so I thought that was funny. So it's the eve of Comic-Con, and it's funny.
Yeah.
It feels like Christmas Eve around here. Everybody's ready to pop.
Sick and wants to throw up because they're so excited.
Awesome. So, Luna,
no one's gonna sleep.
Scale of 1 to 10, Stranger Things?
9 or 10.
9 or 10.
A few things in the ending were iffy, but it was really good.
Austin, scale of 1 to 10, cover of Heroes by Peter Gabriel.
Like a -1.
I go to hell. Stranger Things gets a 10 from me. It was nearly perfect filmmaking. That's rare to say these days. Especially something that has to sustain itself over 8 hours. It's easy to fool and fudge with numbers when you're doing an hour and a half, but 8 hours, you better make sure. And it very rarely lagged to me. I was on the edge of my seat most of it. I was like, I wanted to end.
They had a way of making the end out of every episode, leave you to where you had to start the next episode. Even if you couldn't commit to the whole episode, you had to at least start it because you were like, what?
It was basically the best X-Files episode.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier and I forgot. Because I love X-Files. I'm like, it's very X-Files. That's another show we forgot. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's totally in the X-Files vein.
It's everything I
it was
love.
any of the Monster of the Week shows, like Erie, Indiana, or probably one of Twin Peaks.
Right, and
SCP.
Special credit to the guy who played Hopper. He's fantastic. Winona Ryder, again, one of the best things she's ever done.
She needs to just play crazy. Crazy works for her.
Just play crazy.
Just keep on that crazy, girl. Crazy train.
I'm going up the rails on a crazy train.
Which is a theme song.
So,
and more L, 11.
More L, yes.
I want that actress.
She was really good, too.
Josie's going to cosplay her. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you're going to shave your daughter's head.
It's already shaved. Like, that's a big step. Getting her in the dress the little girl wears in the movie, way harder than the head shaved.
Isn't that
just
funny?
So you know.
And she wore the blonde wig just like E.T.
Yes.
She didn't get drunk. I was waiting for the getting drunk L scene, but it didn't happen. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up, folks. We're off to bed so we can get up and go to Comic-Con tomorrow.
We are.
I have to pack yet. I'm a guy. I haven't packed yet.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm actually going out back to edit this episode. I'm not even packing yet, so I want to get it up on the feed.
Comic-Con's obviously way more exciting than whatever new money-making thing J.J. Abrams has whipped up that you guys are falling for. Honestly.
This is not J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, it is.
No.
That's why I didn't watch the show. Is it his name?
It's not J.J. Abrams.
Oh, I thought it was.
It's like the only movie made this year that isn't J.J. Abrams.
You missed out, Austin.
But it is not.
When you want to rewatch it, you let me know, because I will gladly.
It doesn't really sound like it interests me very much.
No,
it sounded too similar to Super 8, which kind of... Oh, God, I really thought that movie was going to be good. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh, my God, this is going to be great. There's an alien and kids with an 80s aesthetic, and the guy who directed it says he's a true fan, and honestly, I've tried to ride J.J. Abrams' Fun Train, and I keep failing it.
All of the promises that Super 8 broke, Stranger Things rebounded. Yeah. They totally did. So, I give it a 10. I thought it was fantastic. 8 hours, folks, and I've already said I would watch it again, so that's a testament to how good it was. So, thanks for tuning in. We're off to San Diego to Comic-Con.
Yay.
Austin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Comic-Con?
Let's Comic Go right now. We're going to be Comic Gone by the next time you see us.
I should say that he's been trying to get me to go and leave now.
Day.
We don't have a hotel room.
Let's go.
Not tonight, we don't.
So I'm not sure what we would do down there.
He wants us to stay awake all night and then get up and do a 14-hour day after go sleep.
Oh, no. You're nuts.
But we're already getting up early. We're not going to get any sleep anyway.
What time are we getting up?
Are we on the road at 6?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right, so I have to get to bed. I have to edit and pack. I haven't packed yet.
That's not my fault. I've been packed since this morning.
Yeah, well, guys don't do that. So thanks for tuning in. I am Jeff.
Rachel.
Luna.
And we are the stranger side of 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening. By Gramthar's Hammer, we'll be back with another episode. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you. So say we all. Hey, hey, hey.
A quick announcement that 91 Reasons is going to be at the Midsummer Scream Halloween Festival, July 30th and 31st at the Long Beach Convention Center.